Hello and welcome. I'm Ijoma Onyato. Tonight, House of Representatives faults inauguration of Edo State House of Assembly, asks Inspector General of Police to shut complex as Senate committee moves to resolve dispute. President Buhari asks Fulani herdsmen to ignore unauthorized order by the Northern Elders Forum to leave the southern part of the country, insists Nigerians are free to live anywhere in the country. Senate confirms Tanko Muhammad as substantive Chief Justice of Nigeria following his appointment by President Muhammadu Buhari. And U.S. judge sentences Mexican drug kingpin Joaquin El Chapo Guzman to life in prison for 30 years after finding him guilty of 10 charges.
On business news tonight, Securities and Exchange Commission and the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit sign agreement to tackle fraudulent transactions on the capital market.
And on sports news tonight, Nigeria's Super Eagles clinched 8th bronze medal at the Africa Cup of Nations, beating Tunisia 1-0 in the third-place match.
The House of Representatives today asked the Inspector General of Police and the Director General of the Department of State Service to shut down the Edo State House of Assembly. The lower chamber of the National Assembly reached the decision today following a report presented to it by the ad hoc committee investigating the crisis rocking the State Assembly. The lawmakers also gave the governor of Edo State 1 week to issue a fresh proclamation of the Constitution of the 7th House of Assembly of the state.
The Speaker of the House makes his way into the chamber to preside over the second plenary of the week. After debating some motions, the ad hoc committee, which investigated the crisis in the Edo State House of Assembly, lays its report before the House.
The preceding assembly, pursuant to Order 12, Rule 16 of the Standing Orders of the House.
The Speaker takes his leave midway into plenary for another engagement, leaving the Deputy Speaker, Idris Wase, to preside over the consideration of the report.
All of the factions wanted to produce a speaker for the leadership of that house, and that created a crisis. Number two, Mr. Chairman, there was this issue of proclamation. The governor of Edo State has the powers to issue proclamation, and he is supposed to issue immediately after he must have assumed office. Mr. Chairman, in the case of Edo State, the proclamation came 10 days after he took office.
The recommendations of the committee are that the governor of Edo State, Mr. Godwin Obaseki, in the interest of peaceful coexistence of the state, should issue a fresh proclamation within 1 week. That all actions taken by the 7th Assembly members should be declared null and void pending proper inauguration. That all members of the Edo State House of Assembly, both those who have been inaugurated and those who have not been inaugurated, should dissolve their factions. That the Inspector General of Police and the Director General, Department of State Services, should shut down the Edo State House of Assembly and provide adequate security to allay further fears of intimidation and threat as alleged by members-elect.
Motion that the House do adopt the report of the committee will say aye. Aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
The House adopts the recommendations of the committee and resolves that if the recommendations are not implemented, the National Assembly will take over the Edo State House of Assembly as stipulated by the Constitution.
But the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, Frank Okiye, is insisting that the House is protected by law and that any action to derail its peace and progress will be resisted lawfully. Mr. Okiye was reacting to the resolution of the House of Representatives, which ordered the closure of the State Assembly. The Speaker is alleging that the lower chamber is only acting out a script of the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshomole, whom he describes as a major player in the crisis. His allegation is contained in a statement he released shortly after an interview with Channels Television in Benin City, the Edo State capital.
We have been summoned by the Edoro and his group, and we too have, approved the court for an injunction, which will be granted by the Federal High Court, restraining the national leadership of the party and their agents and privils, the police and other security agencies from interfering with the peaceful conduct of the legislative business here. So I do not know where they are, basing their power on, because the powers to take control or even legislate on the the House of Assembly by the National Assembly is in section 99, subsection 4 and 5, and it does not reflect what we have on the ground at all. Nobody can describe what is happening here as a crisis. So for anybody to think that power tussle can change and overlap will be resisted by the law.
And in a swift reaction to the comments by the Speaker of the Edo State House of Assembly, the National Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Adams Oshomole, describes the allegation as untrue and a figment of the lawmaker's imagination. A statement signed by the Chief Press Secretary of the APC Chairman says that the National Assembly lawmakers have the duty to intervene in issues such as the Gestapo manner in which the Edo Assembly was inaugurated. The statement explains that this will not be the first time the National Assembly will be intervening in matters of this nature, and that the Speaker should desist from making frivolous allegations against Mr. Oshomole. He maintains that no amount of blackmail and threat from lawmakers can destroy Mr. Oshomole's image. Meanwhile, the Senate is also investigating the cause of the infighting in the Edo State House of Assembly, and members of the Senate Ad Hoc Committee say they have a mandate to find a solution to the problem rather than apportion blame. The committee started its fact-finding mission in the state today after a courtesy visit to the Edo State Governor, Godwin Obaseki.
The Senate Ad Hoc Committee investigating the crisis rocking the Edo State House of Assembly at the Edo State Government House in Benin City, the state capital. The chairman of the committee, Senator Aliyu Abdullahi, explains the purpose of the visit.
For us in the Senate or even the National Assembly, the constitutional provision that allows us to interfere in a way in any crisis in any of the state assemblies is just simply to restore order and ensure that there is public order.
Consultations were had, went on before the proclamation was issued. The party, various arms of the party, the various party organs met before decisions were reached. So, as far as I'm concerned, I fulfilled my own constitutional responsibility and issued a proclamation. I believe strongly in the separation of powers.
At their next stop, the Edo State House of Assembly, the same reason is given for the committee's presence in the state.
We request all non-essential persons to excuse us so that we can get down to why we're here. It's a fact-finding mission, and we'd like to engage ourselves very frankly so that we understand the issues.
Emerging from the over 1 hour meeting, the committee briefs journalists.
It is the National Assembly that is mandated, not the House of Reps, nor the Senate. So none of these two can be exclusive to the other as far as this subject matter is concerned. So at the end of the day, if you hear the National Assembly taking any decision, it will be the entire National Assembly, that is both chambers. That is how the Constitution has crafted it. But like we said, we are here on fact-finding mission, and our interest, overall interest of the National Assembly and the Senate, which we represent, is to ensure that we restore sanity, we restore stability in Edo State, so that all the people who are constitutionally mandated to serve the people and the good people of Edo State will be doing so.
From the explanations given, the Edo Assembly remains determined to carry on with what it considers its lawful duties. Jessica Olubuse, Channels Television News.
As we discuss the state of affairs at the Edo State House of Assembly, I'm now being joined on the news at 10 by a senior advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Paul Ananaba. Thanks a lot for joining us on the news at 10. So this is very confusing for the average person just looking at the whole thing. But with this whole directive or request from the House of Representatives for the State House of Assembly to be shut down, how do you see this whole thing playing out?
Well, it's a bit complex because politics had gone into it. We're no longer actually looking at strictly legal issues. In the first place, I do not think that the House of Representatives has powers to make such wide, far-reaching orders, because the powers to do that, something close even to that, is by Section 11 of the Constitution, is reposed in the National Assembly. And I know that the Senate is also there. They ought to have worked with the Senate to come up with any step they want to take.
But perhaps that's why they say they're asking and they're requesting. They
Now,
order.
that's the point. Now, the Senate has also now sent its own committee. These are confusion, these are distractions, which we do not need. The powers of National Assembly, and not even the House of Reps alone, in that regard, is to make laws for peace, order, and good governance in that state, not in any state where it comes up, not to give directives. There's no constitutional powers to give directives. There are no constitutional powers to say shut down the National Assembly, because the Constitution envisages a situation where the House is unable to perform its duties. So you will now look at what is going on. And again, I want to look at the situation where 9 members come together and say that they are not acting for a particular House of Assembly.
But did they form a quorum? Was the
now
question?
Well, beyond the issue of quorum, yes, the argument of quorum has been put up there. Beyond the issue of quorum, from the Supreme Court decision in the Nakoju's case, I thought we had gone beyond the era of a few members of the House coming up to take decisions. Well, for some of the gladiators, they are saying, okay, with the separation of power, let the House of Assembly continue. What the House of Assembly in Edo is doing, is it in the interest of Edo State? What were they elected there for? Section 4 of the Constitution is very clear as to what members of the House of Assembly are elected to.
Yeah, but
they are now allowing, you know what happens when the executive arm and the politicians get into disagreements, it spills into the legislature, it spills into the judiciary. Now, the speaker there, Naoki, and his group are saying, we have also gone to court.
In fact, he said that there's no problem in the State House of Assembly, all is well, and he's backed by law. The lawmakers are also saying they have the constitutional, that provision is there to say that the oversight function can be carried out by them.
My advice is that the National Assembly should act together. The House of Reps should avoid a situation where they go ahead of the Senate. They should act along with the Senate. And those in the executive, the governor and his the party should come together. Nigeria does not need this distraction now. And then, since the matter is put before the judiciary, I expect an accelerated hearing, even though the courts will be going on vacation. An accelerated hearing of that dispute should take place in a matter of days, so that there can be peace and quietude in Edo State.
Well, you had the committee that went saying that they have no choice other than to find, have closure. That's the way he put it. In matters like this, that politics and law are sort of mixed together, how do you find closure?
That's the point. What closure will the Senate bring when the House of Reps has already fired missiles? So the point is, the National Assembly should act together as one house, as one National Assembly. That's the point. I don't think that issuing orders by the House of Reps is within the constitutional powers that they have. When the National Assembly acts, they can only do 3 things. Lawmaking powers of the House of Assembly in terms of order, peace, and good governance. And again, their power doesn't even extend to removal of the governor by subsection 5. So each arm of government should act within the constitutional powers they have. And it is too early in the new administrations to begin to see this turbulence and storm. I don't think it is in the best interest of the country. Before you know it, another state will copy that, and we keep being in the news as a country for the wrong reasons.
That's right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, Dr. Paul Ananaba, for sharing that with us on the news at 10 tonight.
Thank you.
And in part 2, after the break, President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, gives assurance of better approach to solving the nation's security challenges, as well as early passage of appropriation bills. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.